A very good morning, students. This is our second part for class 10th from Geography, and the chapter title is Resources and Development. Students, now we will continue the topics from the book that we have understood that why the resources are needed and why there is a need of sustainable development. Now we are talking about that what do you understand by the term conservation of resources? Resources are vital for any development activity, but irrational consumption and overutilization of resources may lead to socio-economic and environmental problems. To overcome these problems, resources conservation at various levels is important. So, students, we know it very well that why the resource should be preserved, why there is a need to conserve the resources as just because they are different in their existence. Some are at the edge of extinction and some are cannot be renewed. Okay, so but irrational, but why we are suffering with the problem, that why we are talking about to preserve them? It means there is something which is not in the favor of our environment, that we are using them in an excess manner. So, irrational consumption and overutilization. The challenge is that we are responsible, that we are overutilizing them, and which results to socio-economic and environmental challenges or problems. To overcome these levels, to overcome these problems, resource conservation at various levels is important. This had been the main concern of the leaders and thinkers in the past. As we are in the 21st century, and we all the environmentalists and the scientists around the world are suffering with the same issue, that how they can, and the global warming or various type of pollution from the environment. But in the earlier time, our philosopher and the thinkers already thought and have given the idea that we have to use the resources in a particular way just to satisfy our need. And among them, Gandhiji was very apt in voicing his concern about resource conservation. Okay, he said there is enough for everybody's need and not for anybody's greed. What a beautiful quotation he has given so early, that in the nature there is everything if we want, if human being want his or her need. But if we will talk about to satisfy any single person greed, then it can't be satisfied because desires are unlimited. When we say need and when we say desire, the desire is the main cause to ruin ourself at all. He plays the greedy and selfish individual and exploitative nature of modern technology as the root cause for resource depletion at the global level. Mahatma Gandhi ji informed that who is the responsible behind this, you can say, this challenge or this situation as right now we are suffering. He said that some greedy people who just want to surplus their money, and some technological advancement which become an explosive nature and which become an explosive factor to give the birth of various, you can say, challenges as depletion at the global level, and resources are coming to an end in the various countries. He was against mass production and wanted to replace it with the production by the masses. What a beautiful line. Gandhiji believed that there shouldn't be the tendency to produce more and more things. Besides this, one has to replace this mass or the huge production with the production by the masses, where everybody will get the work to get to earn their livelihood, to make their life good quality, rather than to just target some people and produce the material and advanced technology to satisfy the rich people. Now, land resource. Now we will discuss about the land. As we know, land is the main resource because everything, whatever we produce as a raw material in the primary sector, comes under the land resource, and land is a basic resource. We live on land, we perform our economic activities on land, and we use it in a different ways. Thus, land is natural resource of utmost importance. Okay, it supports natural vegetation, yes, wildlife, human life, economic activity, transport and communication system, yes. Even we have a very good roadway network. And even if we talk about the sea route, then we need harbors which are constructed on the land itself. If we are talking about the airway, then again, where the okay, the aeroplane will fly in the sky, but where it will land? Then again, they all the planes required land. That's why in the means of communication, there's so much of towers, Tata Indicom, Airtel, so many communication devices set up with the help of wire or satellites, and then they place their poles in the land. So communication and economic activity, we are running so many, you can say, businesses on the land, offices, colleges, university, everywhere there is a need of land. So now you can understand what is the importance of land as a resource. Therefore, it is important to use available land for various purposes with careful planning. That's why there is a great need that land, which is the most essential factor, which is the most important resource to everybody, this resource should be used in a very careful and a planned method. If we will not carefully use it, then one day there will be no land for the wildlife and for the human survival. Now, India has land under a variety of relief features. We know that as you have studied in a detail in a class 9th, physical features of India and India's size and location, namely mountains, plateaus, plains, and island. About 43% of the land area is plain. From the 100%, 43% land area is plain area, which provide facility for agriculture and industry. Mountains account for 30% and the total surface area of the country and ensure perennial flow of some river, provide facility for tourism and ecological aspect. About 27% of the area of the country is the plateau region, and we know it possesses rich reserves of minerals, fossil fuels, and forests. So, in this manner, we divide the land as a means of resource in terms of the plain area, then the mountainous area, and then plateau region. Okay, and every section having some sort of natural resource. Now, we will further discuss land utilization. When we are saying that if land is so much important resource for the human and the flora and flora survival, then how we should use the land? Okay, what planning we should do? Land resources are used for the following purposes. First, forests. Second, land not available for cultivation as barren and wasteland. Land put to non-agricultural uses as buildings, construction, road construction, factories. So these are also required piece of land. And third, other uncultivated land, which excluding fallow land. Other uncultivated land such as permanent pasture and grazing, yes, there are in the village and the hill area where there are green pastures and long and the huge grazing land where no human activity could be possible because they are the only means of survival for their cattle. Third category, land under miscellaneous tree crops, groves not included in net zone area. Even when we are saying that 43% area is northern plain and 27% is a plateau and 30% for the mountainous region. In this piece of land, we are not including these fallow land or miscellaneous land which is used for the another type of purposes. Now, third category, cultivable wasteland left uncultivated for more than 5 agricultural years. There are some sort of piece of land that after harvesting the crop for 5 years we didn't use or don't use the same piece of land for the next agriculture work. So these piece of land are known as cultivable wasteland. Now next is what is fallow lands. Okay, first we have talked about the categorization of land utilization as a means of forest, then the land not available for cultivation, then other uncultivated land which included the permanent pasture land for the other purposes and cultivable wasteland. Now the fourth type of utilization of land is known as fallow land. Fallow land which is not cultivated. Uncultivated piece of land is known as fallow land. which included current fallow left without cultivation for one or less than one agricultural year. The piece of land which after harvesting the crops for next year it remains as it is and no crop production is done by the agriculturist at least for 1 year. These land is known as fallow land. Second, other than current fallow, which is left uncultivated for the past 1 to 5 agricultural years, as I told you. Now, the last category of land utilization is net sown area. Area sown more than once in an agricultural year plus net sown area is known as gross cropped area. So, student, these are the pattern of land utilization in India. Now, land use pattern in India in a detail. The use of land is determined both by physical factors such as topography, climate, soil types, as well as the human factors such as population density, technological capacity, and culture and tradition, etc. In India, which is so diverse country around the world and second largest populous country, and geographically we are having so much of resources. Okay, so here the land is basically used for the different manners by the people. Total geographical area of India is 3.28 million square kilometer. Land use data, however, is available only for 93% of the total geographical area because the land use reporting for most of the northeast state except Assam has not been done fully. Moreover, some areas of Jammu and Kashmir occupied by Pakistan and China have also not been surveyed. So, out of 100, India is possessing 93%, as some percentage of land which included Assam is not fully cultivated, and some part which is owned by Jammu and Kashmir is also occupied by Pakistan and China. That's why we are living that percentage of land. Now, we are talking about the land utilization in India. The land under permanent pasture has also decreased. This is another challenge, that what is the ill effect of the land resource overusing. That first, the permanent pasture land is decreased. How are we able to feed our huge cattle population on this pasture land, and what are the consequences of it? What a beautiful question. As the urban area people never thought that, as they used to take the things packed in a packet from the market, either the milk or the cheese and the butter. But the people who basically belong to the village area, and they know that what are the consequences and the effects, bad effects, if the permanent pasture land will decreased. Now, most of the other than the current fallow lands are either of poor quality or the cost of cultivation of such land is very high. Are you getting point? That the fallow land where for 1 to 5 year or 1 year no crop has been sown, then such type of land requires so much of other resources to produce any crop, as proper means of fertilizers, then irrigation, so many things. The cost becomes so high. Hence, these lands are cultivated once or twice in about 2 or 3 years. And if these are included in the net sown area, then the percentage of NSA in India comes to about 54% of the total reporting area. The pattern of net sown area varies greatly from one state to another. Okay, and as you can see, it is over 80% of the total area in Punjab and Haryana, and less than 10% in Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, Manipur, and Andaman and Nicobar Island. Forest area in the country is far lower than the desired 33% of the geographical area, as it was outlined in the National Forest Policy 1952. So, students, according to the National Forest Policy of 1952, we need 33% area which is required for the forest area, but at present we are lagging behind. The forest area is below than 33% in India. So that's why already there is a challenge. Now it was considered essential for maintenance of the ecological balance. Why? Because at least 33% area should be covered by dense forest, and it helps to balance our environment, ecological environment. Okay, as if there will be the availability of green forest, then the air will be pure, all the air pollution will be not exploit human being and the other living being. The livelihood of millions of people who live on the fringes of these forests depend upon it. And not only that, we are talking about the forest. When we say we have to preserve forest, that it means we are talking about the wildlife also, and the people who depends for their livelihood on these forest, as they are food collector, they are gatherers who collect the firewood from the green forest, who collects the fruits and some sort of edible things from the forests, and who used to graze their animals in the forest area. Okay, so that's why for their survival also we need green forest, but we are not having the desired percentage of green forest in India. Wastelands includes rocky, arid and desert area, and land put to other non-agriculture uses include settlements, roads, railway, industry. Continuous use of land. Continuous use of land over a long period of time without taking appropriate measures resulted in land degradation. Yes, why we are suffering from land degradation? As we are continuously using land to satisfy our greed in terms of construction, industrialization, we are cutting the trees. So that's why we are suffering from land degradation. Thus, in turn, has serious repercussions on the society and environment. That's why we are having the adverse effect of land degradation on the society and definitely scientifically in the environment also. Now, what do you mean by land degradation, and how we can conserve to stop the land degradation and to preserve the land as a resource? We have shared our land with the past generation, and we will have to do with the future generation too. Yes, as our ancestor preserved the piece of land, okay, and then we got it from the earlier generation. In the same way, we have to preserve the land as a resource to our upcoming generation. Otherwise, one day there will be no place where our upcoming generation can do any type of construction or anything, agriculture or anything. 95% of the our basic needs for food, shelter, clothing are obtained from land. Okay, human activities have not only brought about degradation of land but also aggravated the pace of natural forces to cause damage to land. And just because of the excessive use of land, our human activity, it results the land degradation. And not only that, we have disturbed the natural ecosystem, but we also damage the fertility of land also. At present, there are about 130 million hectares of degraded land in India. Oh my God, and it is a great, you can say, amount, that 130 million hectare land we are having as a degraded land. It is not fertile, it is not usable for agricultural purposes. Approximately 28% of it belong to the category of forest degraded area. 56% of it is water eroded area, and the rest is affected by saline and alkaline deposits. Some human activities such as deforestation, overgrazing, mining and quarrying. Underline, some human activities involve deforestation, second overgrazing, third mining and quarrying have contributed significantly in land degradation. These are the detailed reasons which are responsible for the land degradation in India. Okay, deforestation, overgrazing, mining and quarrying. Now, mining sites are abandoned after excavation for work is complete, leaving deep scars and traces over burdening. That when there is a mining, when the miners dig the earth and then they do mining work, then after that, that particular piece of land are having so much of scars, and it takes so much of time to be fertile piece of land. In states like Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh and Orissa, deforestation due to mining. Okay, in all these states there is land degradation or deforestation as the reason of mining have caused severe land degradation. In states like Gujarat, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra, overgrazing. Are you understanding? You have to underline that these are the different states and there are a different reason for land degradation. In Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, the reason is overgrazing, the main reason for land degradation. Okay, they overgraze their field, they do so many types of multi-cropping and with the help of pesticide and chemical, that's why land fertility losses and it result land degradation. In states of Punjab, Haryana, Western Uttar Pradesh, over irrigation is responsible for land degradation due to water lodging leading to increase in salinity and alkalinity, okay, in the soil. The minerals processing like grinding of limestone for cement industry and calcite and sophistone for ceramic industry generate huge quantity of dust in the atmosphere. Yes, when they produce the cement and the limestone, then it produces not only noise pollution but also the air pollution in forms of dust. It retards the process of infiltration of water into the soil after it settles down on the land. In recent years, industrial effluents as waste have become a major source of land and water pollution in many parts of the country. There are many ways to solve the problems of land degradation. Afforestation and proper management of grazing can help to some extent. Planting of shelter belts of plants, control on overgrazing. Okay, stabilization of sand dunes by growing thorny bushes are some of the methods to check and land degradation. Proper management is of waste land, control of mining activity, proper discharge and disposal of industrial effluents and waste after treatment can reduce land and water degradation in industrial and suburban areas. Okay, so these are the ways that how we can stop the soil or the land degradation and air pollution. Now, soil as a resource. We will continue it in the next lecture, student. Till then, take care and God bless you all.